Everybody to recommence the open part of our meeting, and next we have the interregnum period delegation and Anna to present the report. Welcome, Anna.
Kia ora, good morning. This report is something that's required through legislation for the time period between the outgoing council leaving and the swearing in of the new council. A new council can't make any decisions or undertake matters of business until they've been sworn in. On occasions, however, urgent decisions might need to be made. So this paper is seeking that the Chief Executive can make these decisions in respect of urgent matters in consultation with the Mayor-elect during this period. And any decisions that were made during this period would be put before the incoming council as confirmation of how they were dealt with. The LGNZ, Local Government New Zealand, recommends that this delegation is provided to the Chief Executive to make these decisions during this period. The other thing that the report is requesting is that council's committees, or noting rather, that council's committees will be discharged following the election of the new council, with the exception of Te Komiti Muruai o Te Whanga, the District Licensing Committee, and the Transitional Governance Group Joint Committee, because these committees are exceptions because they're legislated entities. So the representatives on these committees will be replaced with the new council delegations when the new mayor makes those appointments. Happy to take any questions about this.
Excellent, thank you very much. And we're noting that the new council is currently scheduled to be sworn in on the 30th of October, so
That's
that
correct.
is the time that the delegation will come to an end. Yep, great, thank you.
That was my question, just to go in the minutes so the public will know when that period ends. Thank you.
Any further questions? Pretty straightforward. So could I have a mover and seconder, please? Thank you, Councillor Price and Councillor Mawson. Like to speak to that?
No, pretty straightforward, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Any other speakers? I'll put the motion. All those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Against, carried. Thank you very much, Anna. Agenda item 4, plan stop policy exemption, sites and areas of significance. Fleur, welcome.
Ata Marie, good morning.
Morena.
This paper seeks council approval to apply for an exemption to the plan stop policy to advance the sites and areas of significance to Māori plan change to the district plan. The paper provides background information on the legislative changes that brought about the requirement for councils to pause work on RMA plan changes. The implication of these changes is that council will need to apply to Minister Simmons for an exemption to continue this plan change through to notification, hearings and decisions. Council officers began work on the sites of significance to Māori plan change in 2019, quite some time ago, and have made significant progress alongside Mana Whenua on identifying the sites and forming a planning framework for which to manage those sites. Engagement with affected landowners is yet to commence for that work. Although officers are yet to determine whether to proceed with this plan change, or even if this plan change meets the specified criteria for being able to apply for an exemption, a decision of the council would enable this work to continue through the election period without disruption. We have a meeting with the ministry this afternoon to discuss our application and whether the criteria can be met either through an automatic exemption or through the application process. And we'll work alongside our mana whenua partners in considering whether to proceed with this work. This council has been involved in this work to date, along with the rest of the district plan review. And we consider it preferable that this council considers the decision to continue this work should this be possible. So I'm happy to take any questions that you may have.
Thank you, Fleur. Open up for any questions. Councillor Crown.
Thank you. Through you, Madam Mayor. I note in 3.5 underneath the implications heading, there's a note there that says there is no cost to the application process, but what sort of resource does it need in order to put that together, or is that something you're going to find out after your meeting this afternoon?
Yes, so through you, Madam Chair. So the Ministry have provided a very good template for the application online, and it seems very simple and relatively quick to prepare. It's just a matter of us meeting with the Ministry, engaging with mana whenua, and then making a determination about whether to fill out that form, essentially. So it's not a resource-heavy matter.
Any further questions of Fleur? No, could I have a mover and seconder, please? Thank you, Councillor Crown. Councillor Taraha, would you like to comment?
Thank you. Just briefly, yes, why wouldn't we? Thank you for all the work that's been done so far in this space, and I think that it certainly aligns with the partnership approach that has been taken throughout so far. So happy to support it.
Thank you. Councillor Tariha.
Just thank you, Fleur and Paulina, for your mahi on the sites of significance to mana whenua, and happy to tautoko people.
Thank you. Any further speakers? Deputy Mayor Brosnan.
Yeah, thank you. Just wanted to say good luck with that application. I think it makes a lot of sense, and it would be good to go through in that application process and just sort of note the support from this table as well, which I'm hoping is unanimous.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. If there's no further questions, I'll put the motion. All those in favour, please say aye. Aye. Against? Carried. Excellent.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Fleur. Right, and now we move on to request for extension of time, and Paulina to present the paper. Thank you.
Morena, everyone.
Paulina.
The purpose of this report is to give you an update on the district plan review project, and as well inform you that the statutory timeframes for releasing the decisions of the proposed district plan will not be achieved, unfortunately, but we are working really hard to get decisions done before the elections. So hopefully we're going to bring a paper to you on the 9th of October requesting to endorse the decisions from the panel and the recommendation from the panel and decisions on the proposed district plan. So there's numerous reasons explained in my report for why there has been some delays. The main reason, obviously, is the complexity, the amount and the complexity of the submissions received, the quantity of rezoning requests that were received as well, which required a in-depth analysis, structured planning, etc., to be able to include it in the district plan, and also some requests that we have received from submitters to extend the hearings or to move the dates of the hearings. As you are aware, the hearings for the district plan finalized on the 3rd of September, so the officers have not had enough time to prepare all the documentation that is needed for having decisions of the district plan. The next steps after the paper is put forward to adopt the proposed district plan to this council, which I think it makes sense. You have been involved in the district plan for so many years, so we're really trying to keep that decision with this council rather than the new council. The next step of that is that officers, if it is adopted, officers would go and make the district plan an E-plan, which is a statutory requirement, and release the district plan decisions to the public in early November. So it's still a process that needs to happen before we release it to the public. And that is the time where submitter and further submitters would be able to lodge appeals to the district plan if they're not happy with the decisions. So that is a process that is run by the Environment Court. So it's not finished yet. There's still a journey in the district plan review project. Happy to take any questions.
Thank you very much, Paulina. I'll open up for questions. Councillor McGrath.
Just through you, Madam Mayor. This has been a very long process, and in the middle of the process we had a cyclone. Did that have a delaying effect for us as well?
Yes, yeah, that's correct. And mainly because of delay on engagement with the community, engagement with Mana Whenua partners, the focus at that time was on recovery rather than engagement for the district plan. So yes.
Thank you.
Deputy Mayor Brosnan.
Thank you, team. Just one of my questions around point C in the resolution around giving the authority to make the application to the Minister for the extension. Just noting that that will be made after the time has elapsed, and whether or not, I guess my two-part question, is that okay to make the application post that the date that it should have been completed by? And two, do we know whether or not they have granted extensions, sort of looking back in the past?
Yes, so the letter C says that we have made an application to the minister already because the statutory timeframe was 21st of September. So the letter was sent ahead of this meeting. So meeting is just to inform you that we were gonna send a letter to the minister, and that has been sent to request an extension.
The wording doesn't quite state that, so we could just make a slight amendment that
we can make it,
officers have made an application.
Thank you
Yes.
for that clarification. That makes those,
Yes, apologies.
those questions much easier. Thank you.
Yeah, great. Any further questions? Got that change, that slight change? Yeah.
Through you, Madam Mayor, I know you've done a piece of work on this, so it would be good just to explain, obviously being in an election period, the advice around the significance of the decision, and it's okay to bring to the 9th of October.
Yeah, that's correct, because the district plan has been such a long journey, and we have been doing extensive engagement with the community stakeholders through the years, including a release of a draft district plan, that it is considered that appropriate to take it to the council on the 9th of October.
Sorry, just to clarify, my question is, what advice have you received? Who's provided that advice?
Yes, I've talked to our governance team and our legal team as well.
Fantastic. Thank you very much.
Sure.
Okay. Any further questions or any general discussion before I ask for a mover and seconder? Councillor Brown?
Yeah, thank you. Through you, Madam Mayor. Just to sort of tautoko the work that the staff have done in this. The staff have been very accommodating and facilitating a huge amount of public voice through these hearings. And I think I'm characterising the independent hearing commissioners well when I say that it's over and above what they've seen in other places. So part of the hearings panel process is that you can have conferences, so when two people are disagreeing or two groups of people are disagreeing on stuff. And so we've gone out of our way to make sure that those two groups of people get in the room and they talk about it until they come up with a solution that works for everyone. And we all know how valuable that is for our table, and the staff have done that really admirably. And we're hoping that there should be quite low levels of appeals because of the huge amount of work the staff have put in. So.
Thank you. Councillor Price.
I'm just wondering what date the papers for the 9th of October will come out to us. Can you tell me?
What timing?
When will they come out, the papers for that date?
It's just a few days before. Can I quickly ask maybe Anna for the
Sorry, I'll interrupt. I've just heard Carolyn say in my ear, hoping the 6th of October.
6th of October. However, we are going to give access to the elected members to those reports, especially the attachments, which are the recommendation reports and the chapters today. So you have had a chance to have a look at it in advance.
Yeah, that's reassuring because it gives us a bit of time.
Yeah, it's a lot to get through. Okay. I'm happy to move from the chair, seconded by Deputy Mayor Brosnan. And recognising this is just an extension request, but also wanting to acknowledge the huge amount of work that's gone into getting us to this point, wanting to acknowledge Deputy Mayor Brosnan, Councillors Brown and Councillors Taylor, who have been part of the hearings process. I know that that's been very intensive as well, so thank you very much for that. And yes, we're looking forward to the 9th of October. So, Deputy Mayor Brosnan.
Yeah, no, thank you for those words. It has been a big process. I think sometimes these statutory timeframes are set down, become very black and white once you get into the complexities of individual situations. And as Councillor Brown pointed out, there has been a really collaborative piece of work done with the panel, and I would like to acknowledge Rob van Voorthausen and Robert Schofield as our independent chair and member on those hearings, who have done a fantastic job of guiding us through. And we did discuss seeking these extensions with them as well, and that was supported. So, yeah, very happy to support with that minor amendment to Resolution C. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Any further speakers? I'll put the motion. All those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Against, carried. Thank you very much, Fleur and Paulina.
Thank you.
Excellent. Right, now we have the Napier Multicultural Strategy draft for consultation. Welcome Margot and Tanya to present the paper to us, please.
Good morning again. Thank you for the opportunity to present the Napier Multicultural Strategy draft paper. I'd firstly like to acknowledge Rebecca Peterson, my colleague, who has done a huge amount of work on this, who unfortunately was unable to be here today, but she will be watching and I need to make sure I do a good job. I probably don't need to introduce Tanya Jane to you. You probably all know her. Tanya has acted as an independent consultant and she has worked alongside us and our community and is here to co-present the paper. Tanya obviously will be able to answer more of the specific questions. I'm a bit of the show pony today, I think. Before we begin, we would like to acknowledge key people and organisations involved in the strategy development, our advisory groups, particularly our community and mana whenua members who volunteered their time, Jackie Ham, our Māori Partnership Manager here at Council, who has provided tikanga and kawa support for our advisory groups throughout, Councillor Mawson for his enthusiasm and involvement in the steering group, and of course the Multicultural Association. The purpose of the paper obviously is to approve the release of the draft Napier Multicultural Strategy, Whiria Ahuriri, for community feedback. We have provided you with a background document with our paper today, and this outlines the process that we've undertaken with our community to get to this draft strategy that we're presenting today. You will notice that the strategy is not available with the wonderful design elements that we normally come with, but timing and the number of council meetings available to us meant that we really felt we wanted to get it in front of this council because you've been on the journey with us. So that's the main reasons for those not being prepared today. Can you move the slide? The slide, yeah. Thank you. So you will be aware that Napier is becoming increasingly diverse. The 2023 census data reported overseas-born Napier residents increased from 14% in 2013 to 18%
So that's nearly 1 in 5 people. The 2023 census reports over 24% identify as Māori in Napier, compared with 17.8% across New Zealand. 4.4% identify as Asian, 4.2% Pacifica, 2.2% Indian, and 1% Middle Eastern, Latin American or African. So there's an upward trend in all of these ethnicities. In terms of community perception about diversity in Napier, our annual Social Monitor survey reveals a concerning decline in community attitudes towards diversity. Less than half of Napier residents believed diversity makes the city a better place to live. This was down from 47% in 2023 and 54% in 2022. So that's a concerning decline that we're seeing.
Yes, hand over to me. Morena Koto. So I'm going to just talk about the process that we use to develop the strategy and what the draft strategy is. So we started the process with doing a desktop review, looked at all the other strategies, welcoming community programs and plans across the country. Created a profile for Napier to sort of have a good understanding of who our different cultural communities are, what sort of education, what sectors they are employed in, so just really wide. Looked at data from the census 2018, because 23 wasn't available at the time, and Social Monitor survey, as well as some data from Ministry of Ethnic Communities. Went into project initiation. It was very critical. We sort of, from the very start, established that Te Tiritio Waitangi is the foundational sort of document for Tauiwi and Tangata Whenua to live together. So this was the framework for our strategy. We engaged with Mana Whenua from the very start. We established our steering group and our reference group. I'll go a little bit into that as in the next slide. Had a number of workshops with our advisory groups, and then went wider and did stakeholder engagement. This year mostly has been bringing all of that information we have gathered together and bringing it together as a draft strategy to present to you here before we go for wider community consultation. So just briefly about the structure for development, we had our steering group, which was mostly organizations that work with our cultural communities. We had good representation from a lot of the government organizations, MB, MSD, as well as our non-government organizations, Multicultural Association, Citizens Advice Bureau. We had Eastern Bridge English Language Partners, so there's a big list in front of you. Our reference group was our community members. So we had representatives from some of our other community organizations like the Napier Malayali Association, Chinese Association, and then some members of different cultural communities. So not necessarily affiliated with a formal group, but involved in their everyday communities, of course. So we had representation from the Punjabi community, Sri Lankan, Brazilian, Korean, Fijian, so had a really good mix in there. We held a number of workshops with both our advisory groups. It was sort of 6 workshops with each of them, so 12 workshops with both our groups. We went into talking about what the vision should be, different words associated with multiculturalism, what they mean, what language we should use, took them on a bit of a journey with us, talked about challenges, why we need a strategy, and so on. And once our workshops with our advisory groups was done, we had sort of the bare bones of our strategy and went wider and did wider stakeholder engagement between October and December 2024. We did a whole lot of we used different tools, so we did some focus groups, workshops, had a presence at 4 different community events, tried to go to where the people are instead of trying to have opportunities, have them come to us. We were able to capture youth voice. We had Misbah from Napier Youth Council, who's at Tamatea High, who helped us organize a focus group at Tamatea High, which was very interesting. We were also able to engage the youth council, talk to businesses. So yes, we went really, really sort of wide with our stakeholder engagement. This is a summary on the next slide. It's in the background document as well, just a summary of our stakeholder engagement. We engaged with about 400 people at the 4 community events we were at, 9 presentations and workshops with different groups. We also presented to, say, the community network meeting to hear from other organizations of what would be different if Napier was the best place for people from all cultures to live and belong and thrive. And we also did a survey. We had a survey that was completed by 119 people, and 18 of those were representatives of different organizations, so the Hindu Council, People's Advocacy Society, and so on. We got a lot of rich qualitative feedback, and this was just, these are just a few instances of that. People put in a lot of thought into their responses. And again, these are responses to the question, if Napier was the best multicultural city, what would that look like, be like? Some said stronger social bonds, reduced discrimination, a sense of unity despite differences, local businesses, cultural initiatives would thrive. I won't go and read all the others, but they're there for you to look at and read through. And going into a quick summary of the strategy. So Whiria Ahuriri means, the name of our strategy came through after a discussion with our advisory groups. We were talking about different words and what they mean, and the conversation became really rich and deep, and out came a subgroup that talked some more. Whiria means to weave, so it is weaving together the social fabric of Napier in a sense. The point of difference of this strategy is we wanted to go beyond celebrating multiculturalism, which is great, which is important, but it's focus on sort of emphasis on social cohesion. And we'll talk a little bit more about that as we go as well. The vision for the strategy, Together We Thrive. Napier is a city where people from all cultures can belong and thrive. I was talking at one of our presentations with our advisory groups when we took the strategy to them. The words look so simple, but we've put a lot of thought and work and looked at all the words and things the feedback that we got to arrive at where we are at. In terms of our values and principles, the way we see it is a bit of a journey to form authentic relationships. So almost like levels, you meet someone, there's manakitanga, there's respect, kindness. You build some connection and go into whanongatanga. You walk alongside each other and walk in partnership and sort of goes into kotahitanga. And once that strong foundation is there, you are able to have some of those more courageous conversations around racism, discrimination. So Mana Tangata sort of talks to that. We are looking at incorporating this, like the Potama designs, that reflects our values and principles in some of the design work that's underway at the moment. Going into focus areas, the 5 priority areas we have identified is a connected and cohesive community, so having connections within communities, helping newcomers settle, meaningful intercultural relationships where cultural communities feel a sense of belonging, building relationships with Mana Whenua for a better understanding of Tikanga, Kawa, and Te Ao Maori. Cultural expression and pride, this was another one that came through quite strongly, of being able to embrace, express, and celebrate your cultural identity, but also have our places and spaces reflect the diversity of our city. and what that looks like. Well-being and safety, fostering physical, mental, cultural, emotional, and spiritual well-being, feeling safe to be yourself at home, at work, in your community without feeling discriminated against. Access and support, easy and equitable access to reliable information. There was a lot of discussion on this as well, where people sort of wanting to know where they can go for reliable information in the current environment, I guess. Resources, services, and support, access to language support, health, employment, education pathways. So just navigating, having sort of knowing how they can navigate different systems. Engagement and participation was the last one, where empowered communities are represented and have their voice heard. So this is sort of the essence of the strategy. There's more about the strategic links, implementation, and so on in the document that you have. And I will pass back to Margot for next steps.
Okay, so just before we go to the options, I just want to touch on a couple of things, particularly the multicultural landscape in Napier. The Hawke's Bay Settlement Forum is the primary network for supporting ethnic communities. They organise the annual diversity event, and that's been held at the Sound Shell and Anderson Park last year. The Multicultural Association of Hawke's Bay is the other committed organisation that supports cultural communities, and we are aware that there are many more cultural groups organising and establishing themselves. As a council, we are also committed to the Welcoming Communities program, supporting migrants, newcomers and international students who have been in Napier for less than 5 years or less. We also have a large number of our residents who have lived here for 11 years or more and will have different needs from those people who are newcomers to our society. I also want to highlight that the strategy will inform a phased implementation plan. This will allow the flexibility to align with the upcoming proposed local government changes, while continuing to build opportunities for strategic relationships with our cultural communities. This strategy will not only act as an umbrella for the Welcoming Communities work, but it will also extend and build on those programs, providing an overarching strategic approach for how Napier supports our cultural communities. You'll see the options that are before you, and ngā mihi nui kia koutou, and we're happy to take questions.
Great, thank you, Margot. Thank you, Tanya. Open up for any questions from councillors. Councillor Bogue.
Yes, thank you very much. A great, comprehensive and excellent report. I remember the one that Hastings put together, and it's been great to see the work that's been done for a Napier one. My question is, have you considered having Katie Nimmons' representatives, our MPs' representatives, and your stakeholders? And why I'm saying that is she's very open to, discussing these issues with us, but many issues around migrants, existing migrants, people who have been here for some time, people who are working here and have to leave and then come back, all those sorts of things are controlled by central government legislation. And I think, would you be interested in adding the local MP and her staff to your list of stakeholders so that you could make that connection and feed that back to her?
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, we've had good engagement with MB, MSD, and so on. But definitely, I think would be a great idea to have Katie Nimmin and her staff involved as well.
Councillor Gregg.
Yes, through you, Madam Mayor. Thank you, Tanya and Margot. A question about the Hawke's Bay Settlement Forum, coordinated by Napier City Council. To avoid duplication of services, could that become part of the multicultural strategy, or are they separate?
Yes, as we go forward, so Hawke's Bay Settlement Forum was formed after, because immigration used to have the settlement coordinator role many years ago, and once that was disestablished, the settlement forum was formed to keep the different stakeholders connected. And I guess once the strategy is implemented, and there'll be an advisory group that will be involved in its implementation, we will look at the settlement forum and make sure there's no duplication there.
Thank you. Any further? Councillor Simpson.
Yeah, through you, Madam Mayor. Just a question around the cultural diversity. You indicate that there's a decline in people's acceptance. Has there been any research or study work being done on that to give us indicators as to what we can target to alter that perspective?
Yeah.
Because diversity is important.
Yes. So no, I'm not sure what has been, if there's anything being done to sort of go deeper. The data we have is from Napier's Social Monitor survey, which, and in the last, I think, 4 to 5 years, we have included diversity questions. So part of the implementation of this strategy would be to look at what we can do to address that. Because I guess a lot of times it's, ignorance, like people knowing more about different cultures, learning, because lots of times when we don't know, it's this, sort of not being sure or just being distant because you don't know. So I guess it's having opportunities for people to learn, to have more exposure to, and find ways in our implementation to actually improve that. We did find some numbers sort of comparing it to what the national numbers are. So I guess nationally, MB does this survey in 2019. 52% respondents thought that cultural diversity makes their community a better place. 14% said worse or much worse. And the rest said it makes no difference or they would rather not say. So yeah, it's sort of, there's a bit of a way to go. I mean, given that we are sort of at that halfway mark nationally and less than that for us in Napier.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Any further questions or general discussion? Thank you for the inclusion of the engagement plan there. So noting that we're going out from the 20th of October seeking feedback and that we will be providing people the opportunity to come and speak to us in person. So that's really good. Really appreciate that information being included in the paper. If there's no further questions or general discussion, I'll ask for a mover and seconder, Councillor Mawson and Councillor Crown. Would you like to speak to that, Councillor Mawson?
Yes, thank you, Your Worship. Yeah, I'm really proud to move this. Whiria Ahuriri, our multicultural strategy, reflects a huge amount of work, from staff involved, Beck, who can't be here today, Tanya. And thank you for the presentation. I mean, it shows a great level of professionalism and the reach that you've gone to make this Napier's strategy. A couple of strategies, but this is Napier's, uniquely Napier's. Also, a huge thanks to all the community leaders and stakeholders who gave their time. I see Rizwana from Multicultural Association here today. I mean, it's important to note that it's built on their lived experience and their commitment to making Napier a city where all cultures belong and thrive. We're getting a multicultural strategy that's been one of the... When are we getting a multicultural strategy? It's been one of the biggest questions I've been asked as a councillor with the diversity portfolio. So now it's quite cool to have this sort of going for consultation. And in doing so, we're honouring the effort and inviting those in the wider community to help us take the next step together. Obviously, I'm very fully behind this, and those on the next council will look forward to hearing from our community with what the next steps are. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Councillor Crown.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Mayor. And yeah, thank you, Councillor Mawson, as well for all your work on this. The only other thing that I have to add is obviously, this is opening it up for further feedback from our wider community. And when I read through everything, I thought to myself, those are lofty focus areas. We're aiming high, and so we should, because we can't control how others think or feel or act or what their attitude may be, but we can certainly set a standard as to how this organisation does things and the values that we follow in setting an example with how we work with others that are on the same page with shared goals and purpose, and noting that an action plan will be developed to give us, I guess, some grip around, what success looks like and what we're able to achieve. But first and foremost, this is about getting our house in order, which I think is a really positive step to take. So thank you.
Okay. Any further speakers? I guess just noting as well that we are only the third council to have a multicultural strategy, so I think that's also something really to be really proud of. So there being no further speakers, I'll put the motion. All those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Against? Carried. Thank you so much, Margot and Tanya, and thank you for all the work that's gone into this. Now, I just want to note, I can see we've got some of our guests arriving for our valedictorial speeches. So we will just beg your patience for a little bit longer. We do still have some agenda items to get through. It's always really difficult to predict timing of these meetings. So hopefully we can keep you interested in our discussion and debate while we work through the rest of the agenda. So next I would invite Rachel forward to present the age-friendly terms of reference paper, please. And Margot back. Welcome, ladies.
Good morning, and thank you for the opportunity to present the revised terms of reference to our current Positive Ageing Advisory Group. I'll take the paper as read. Just want to highlight a few key shifts that you'll notice between the 2022 terms of reference and the newly proposed document. With our commitment to the being an age-friendly city and acknowledgement to our accreditation, the advisory group has requested the change in name from Positive Ageing to Age-Friendly. This signals that Napier is moving in the right direction and aligning with both the national and international age-friendly framework, and the paper talks to the terminology change as well. During the review process, I did connect with other councils and the Office for Seniors to understand how their advisory group operate. While there were many different approaches, one consistent theme was the importance of keeping groups nimble so they can respond quickly and be receptive to new initiatives. Our group has been on this journey, and after reviewing the proposal, they have endorsed the document presented to you today. Some of the key shifts are reinforcing the group's role at the strategic level while ensuring implementation is carried out, establishing subgroups who will take the lead on projects such as our International Day of Older Persons celebrations, which is coming up on the 6th of October, and creating and strengthening community partnerships and resilience. It also introduces fixed term periods for our chair, community members and our advisors. And importantly, this structure reinforces our council's direction, with strategies becoming more community-led with council in a supportive role. Thank you.
And happy to take any questions.
Thank you very much. I will open up for questions from councillors, please. I think we've all been known this is coming through to us, so thank you very much for the report. We know that this is a very engaged steering group, and they do lots of wonderful things for our community, so looking forward to seeing what their work program looks like going forward, and we will, of course, continue to support them as a council. So I'd ask for a mover. Thank you, Deputy Mayor Brosnan, seconded by Councillor Mawson. I invite you to speak to the motion.
Yeah, just very briefly, thank you very much for the paper. I did read through the terms of reference and I thought they all looked appropriate, and quite happy to accept the suggestion around the name change if that is what is best practiced and feels like it best fits with the group. So more than happy to support. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Mawson.
Yeah, thank you, Your Worship. Yeah, just to acknowledge all those on the Positive Ageing Strategy Advisory Group, which is a bit of a mouthful, so hence obviously this move for this name change to age-friendly Ahuriri Napier is quite appropriate, and obviously it aligns with the World Health Organisation Age-Friendly City Framework, which is a bit more cohesive, so yeah.
Great.
Fully support.
Thank you very much. Any further speakers? I'll put that. All those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Against? Carried. Thank you, Margot. Thank you, Rachel.
Thank you.
Now, moving on to risk pool proposed amendments to the trust deed, and invite Caroline up to speak to the paper.
Thank you. So this report is seeking approval to make amendments to the risk pool trust deed. The amendments have come about from a legal review of the deed, which identified a number of corrections that are required to bring the governance framework in line with best practice and ensure compliance. The proposed changes are outlined in the paper, and they do not alter Napier City Council's financial contributions or create any obligations. happy to
Great.
take any questions.
Thank you, Caroline. I'll open up for any questions. Pleased to hear it doesn't change our financial obligations. Caroline Gregg. Councillor Gregg.
Thank you. Through you, Madam Mayor. Just a question about the wind down phase for the risk pool scheme. Do we know how much longer it will be in existence?
Not at this point in time. It's still being worked through.
Any further questions or any general discussion before I ask for a mover and seconder? Okay, can I have a mover and seconder, please? Thank you, Councillor Gregg and Councillor Crown. Would you like to speak to that? No, Councillor Crown? Very good. I'll put the motion. All those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Against and carried. And now we have the lease of land extension. And I know we don't have Brian with us today. So, Richard. And very warm welcome, Tanya. Lovely to have you with us.
Thank you. The report in front of you is to apply for, well, as landowner to, it's an application really to extend the term of that village that's located in 21 Domain Road. And I have Tanya Hopmans here from Mangahararu Tangatu Charitable Trust, who's going to kind of explain why that's necessary. So I'll just hand over to you, Tanya.
Tēnā tātou. Thank you for allowing me to speak briefly. I want to start with a thank you. 2 years ago, post-cyclone, we put out a call on behalf of our hapu to councils and government agencies to see if someone had a piece of land that we could put some cabins on, emergency cabins on for our whānau. And Napier City Council came to the rescue. And the rationale for that was really the places that our whānau were living, Tangoil Valley, Esk Valley, and Arapawanui Valley were all severely hit by the cyclone, as you'll well know. And their lands were designated as Category 3. So for some others that had been flooded alongside our whānau, they had Category 1 or Category 2 land where emergency cabins could be dropped often behind their homes or near their homes that were damaged. But because the land that our whānau owned and occupied was all Category 3, there wasn't that option. So we had funding to locate emergency cabins, but we had no land. So we reached out to our friends to ask for help, and thank you to our mayor and to Louise, who actually looked hard and came up with something for us, not just for the cabins, but also for Tangoil Marae, for a temporary marae location at Nuffield as well. So just wanted to say face-to-face, a belated thank you for assisting us with that. So the cabins were installed in 2024 because all this took time to organise this. Around April 2024, our whānau were able to move into those cabins, which is a long time post-cyclone, but that's how long it took. We worked really hard to get this result, but it wasn't without the support from others. So they've been occupying that area, and we've got babies who've been born and are living there. Post-cyclone, we've got tamariki, we've got grandparents living there. And so we've got about 21 whānau members living in 14 cabins. We have been working hard to find land because we are supporting our Tangoil Marae trustees to relocate Tangoil Marae, which is also Category 3. So it's been a double whammy for us. And we have secured land. Earlier this year, we've secured agreements to purchase land at Tangoil, up near Whakaari. Those of you who dive will know Flat Rock, or the Whakaari headland, you'll know that. So we've secured some land up there, which is where the marae will be moving to. There is also space up there for papakainga in the future. One of the challenges we have, though, is current government funding frameworks are tight in terms of the funding that's available. and not really suited to greenfields developments where you've got to put in infrastructure. So the site we've purchased is a farm, so it has very little infrastructure. So it's going to take some work to find funding and to be able to provide those whānau that have been affected and are still living in those cabins with some permanent housing options. But we're working really hard to do that. We need some more time to do that. So our request, which we've put to you councillors today, is to allow us to extend the lease by a couple of years, which will allow us more time to find those solutions for our whānau. That's really the request, but starting off with a big thank you. Thank you.
Ngā mihi, thank you very much, Tanya, for clearly articulating why this is needed, and thank you for your acknowledgement of we were thrilled that we were able to support you and find land for the cabins and for your marae. So
thank you.
Just a couple of things to add on. So there's the expiry date gives time to enable some of the other legal processes that need to be undertaken if council does grant its landowner permission. That would either be by understanding whether the SWERDA legislation can be extended or otherwise we'd have to go through a resource consent application as the next step to legalise that temporary for another couple of years. And I just pointing, I guess, to the dates there. So the 3 years is to the middle of August in 28. Yeah. Thank you.
Great, thank you very much, Richard. Now, we do not know at the moment when we may find out about if there's going to be an extension of that order of council, do we? We've got no idea of timeframes at the moment.
I'll just ask Rachel to answer that one. Yeah.
That's correct. We have no update yet. We have made submissions in support of the extension, both Napier City Council and Hastings District Council for those communities that are displaced and need time. So, but no update yet.
Great, thank you. And acknowledging we do have another pathway that we can navigate if that extension is not granted.
That's correct. Under this sort of a pre-application context, we've been engaging with Tanya and we're working through some of the matters that might have to be considered for a temporary resource consent. And we whilst it's a regulatory outcome that would have to be decided, we are working through those and confident that we could have a positive outcome on a temporary resource consent, but there would have to be some things that would have to be resolved before we can achieve that. Yeah.
Great, thank you, Rachel. Open up for any questions from councillors. Councillor
Sorry,
Bogue.
Madam Mayor. Just for the sake of people who don't know the area of land we're talking about, because they don't have an agenda, could you just explain where that land is?
So the land is sort of opposite the airport terminal, approximately in West Shore.
So Domain Road, there's the roundabout where the airport is.
Yeah.
And you go towards West Shore, you hang a left, that's Domain Road. And so it's a wedge of land. Part of it is a reserve and part of it is owned by the council as well. And it used to have an old shed on there that was removed as part of this installation of the cabins. So it's between Domain Road and the State Highway. So a big part of it was also putting some fencing up. And there was a wedge of land within the land that was adjacent to the lease, which has been turned into a little bit of a playground for the children. So.
And how many homes or cabins are on it?
14. 14, yeah.
Right.
Councillor Price.
Thanks for the rundown, Tanya. It's really good. Have there been any issues or reports of any issues?
There's been no complaints from neighbours or others. There have been, in all honesty and disclosure, between the residents, they've had to work out a few things, but you'd expect that.
Yes,
Yeah.
I can tell you I've spoken to Mr Andy Walker of the Residents Association and they've heard nothing.
No,
So,
that's good.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Any further questions or general discussion? Okay, so we essentially have a recommendation to approve a variation and note that there is 2 pathways forward in terms of achieving that variation. You're happy to move, Councillor Tariha? Thank you. And Councillor Crystal? Thank you. I invite you to speak to that.
Yeah, kia ora tānia, Morena.
Nā koe.
Thank you for articulating the situation for us this morning, and yeah, more than happy to tautoko the extension.
Thank you. Councillor Crystal?
Yeah, thank you, Tania, and yes, more than happy to second it. I was very happy to hear you say you have found some land. I know it's a bit of a journey down that path, but that's actually probably the key part of it, is to find some land, and looking forward to hearing how that works out, and hopefully get some funding to do that, because I know, being on the side of a main road isn't ideal for our tamariki and old people, But yeah, I'm very happy to support this.
Thank you. Any further speakers? There being none, I'll put the motion. All those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Against? Carried.
Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
Next time.
Right, whizzing right along. Next up, we have the Council Investment Policy updates from Emma.
Morena all.
Morena.
This is a relatively operational matter. So I was before you on the 31st of July, and following that we have the Ahuriri Investment Management Limited up and running, and the board are working hard in the background to prepare the first statement of intent to present to council towards the end of November, setting out their initial thoughts and strategy. One of a key principle behind council's relationship with the investment portfolio is that you retain the guardrails and the controls, and a critical element of your set of guardrails and controls is the council investment policy. Through the work we've done with setting up the framework, we've also made a commitment to AIM that we will review any policies that don't quite gel or work with what we're trying to achieve with the intent of the arrangement. And early days, we're here with a couple. The Russell Investments, who is a professional investment manager, is in the process of being appointed to establish the managed fund arrangement, and is the managed fund arrangement that the Statement of Investment Policies and Objectives governs. And through the work with dealing with establishing that arrangement and working with Russell Investments, there have been some tidy-ups identified with the description around the ethical investment criteria. This isn't a changing of the controls, it's really a tidy-up, and an example is that the prior version just referenced an exclusion to tobacco. We've changed that to say the manufacture of tobacco, cannabis and other legislated drugs. And if we just had tobacco as an exclusion, for example, that could be interpreted to preclude investing in a supermarket that sells tobacco. So we're just getting much clearer around what that exclusion relates to. We also think we'll bring this policy back with some further tidy-ups just to make sure it's sitting at the right governance level and things, but that's a journey of change that will go on as we progress. But it's those changes that we're seeking approval for today. The other policy that sits under the main investment policy is and I always get the name of it wrong, the Council Investment Property Portfolio Policy, which relates to leasehold land. That was updated earlier this year, and as we work through the arrangement with AIM, what council has done is now handed over the investment making decisions to AIM, and that policy has effectively become redundant in the council's hierarchy of policies. What we have got is your investment policy, and that contains the guardrails around the acquisition and disposal of investments, and it also contains a guardrail around council needing information about the land that we got from the Inner Harbour. Officers are comfortable that by retiring this policy, we're not removing or revoking or changing or reducing any of your guardrails. We're just tidying up the policy stack, and it's now AIM's responsibility to work out what policies they need to do their job. In doing all of that work, we've then just gone back to the main investment policy and done some tidy-ups and alignments to make sure that it all hangs together as a stack appropriately, refining the language around the risk section, making sure the alignment between ethical investment and the two policies is aligned and things like that. So all just tidy-ups and procedural. We've used the word revoke in the resolution, but on reflection, we think that a better resolution word to use for clause B would be retire, to create clarity.
It's definitely more appropriate. Okay, open up for any questions from councillors. Councillor Taylor.
Thank you, Worship, through you. Just in relation to the managed fund arrangement, I see in the report that there's a focus on getting the initial 5.5 million invested by the end of October. Does that mean that that investment will take place prior to elected members being appointed to the as trustees?
Yes.
So they won't be involved in that discussion?
The appointment
I'm
of
actually going to, call a point of order because it's not relevant to the paper in front of us, but we can take that offline and get some information for you, Councillor Taylor.
Okay.
Any further questions? Okay. Right, so noting that part B of the recommendation has been changed from revoke to retire, could I ask for a mover and seconder, please? I'm happy to move from the chair, seconded by Councillor Crown. This is a bit of an ongoing journey, obviously, so I suspect we'll be seeing you back in front of us, Emma, but thank you for your ongoing efforts with this as we set up our asset investment management company for success. So thank you. Thank you. Councillor Crown. Any further speakers? I'll put the motion. All those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Against, carried. Thank you very much, Emma. Next, we have the summary of Ngā Manukanuka o Te Iwi recommendations coming through to us. So you will have all seen the minutes of the meeting. Welcome, Anna. Do we have any questions from elected members? Because we'll take the report and the minutes as read.
Happy to move.
Happy to move. Thank you, Deputy Mayor Brosnan. Do I have a seconder? Thank you, Councillor Tariha. Any further comments?
No, thank you. It's always good to receive.
Yeah.
Nothing further.
Thank you very much. I'll put the motion. All those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Against, carried. And then the summary of the Joint Alcohol Strategy Advisory Group recommendations. Again, we have received the report and the minutes, but I will open up for any questions that there may be. And that's to our committee group, our advisory group members as well. And Anna, I was sensing you want to speak to this.
Oh, sorry. Sorry. Thank you. Through you, Madam Mayor. Just a point to note, in the attached minutes, there was an error in one of the dates that said that officers implemented the advisory group recommendations following the meeting held on 9 December 2025. This is obviously incorrect and has been changed to 24 and republished.
Thank you very much, Anna. Just open up for whether any of the advisory group members had any further comments that they'd like to add.
Thank you, Your Worship. No, really, it just was the most logical thing to do, that there was no point in that particular group continuing.
Thank you very much, Councillor Taylor. If there's no further questions or discussion, could I have a mover and seconder, please? Thank you, Councillor Gregg and Councillor Taylor. If there's no further comments, I'll put the motion. All those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Against, and carried. Finally, we have information papers, minutes of joint committees, being the Hawke's Bay Regional Transport Committee from June and the Omaranui Refuse Landfill Joint Committee also in June. We'll invite the committee members again if there is anything that they wish to speak to with regards to those minutes. Okay, any questions from councillors having read the minutes? Excellent. So I'll have a mover and seconder, please. Thank you, Councillor Price, seconded by Councillor Mawson. If there's no further comments, I'll put the motion. All those in favour, please say aye. Aye. Against and carried. Excellent. Thank you very much, Anna. And this brings us to our final paper prior to our valedictorian speeches. So I invite Rachel and is Luke joining us as well for our annual dog control report. David, lovely. Thank you. Lovely to see you.
Saving the best for last, I know. Kia ora, councillors. So I'm standing in for Luke today, but just wanting to present to you the 10A dog control report. This is a legislative report that we must adopt each year and then publish it according to the Dog Control Act. It's reasonably dry paper, so I just wanted to point out one correction for you in terms of our statistics under paragraph 3, dog control statistics. The number of registered dogs for 24-25 is in fact 8,562. So just point that correction out to you. Otherwise, I'm happy to take the paper as read, but I've asked David to come along and give a bit of life to our animal control activities.
Thank you. I'm not sure if I can do that, but it is, as the figures show, it's been a pretty much consistent year for us. There have been disappointing areas of increase in the number of dogs roaming, which is 60, and also in the minor attacks. But this, and an increase in reporting of 400 jobs overall. But I take this as we're being a lot more visible in the community, and we're working hard to increase on this. One disappointing trend, which we will be working to find a solution for, is the increasing number of dogs that are surrendered to us at the animal control facility, and we're turning into a place of first resort rather than last resort. And this is perhaps reflected in the number of impoundings we've had this year. Other than that, like I said earlier, it's been a pretty consistent year for us, and I'm happy to answer any questions in regards to the numbers in front of you today.
Thank you very much, David. I'll open up for questions. Councillor Gregg.
Yes, through you, Madam Mayor. Just a quick question of clarification. On the chart on page 8, what does it mean by bylaws breach?
So that can range from fouling through to intimidation and just the bylaws that are contained within our animal control policy and breaches of those. And off-lead is another area of
Thank you. Any further questions? Any general discussion? Okay, could I have a mover and seconder, please? Deputy Mayor Brosnan, thank you. Councillor Crown, any comments?
Yeah, no, thank you, David, for the report. It is always good to get a picture of how this part of the organisation is tracking, and of course it has a direct impact on our community, how dogs are managed and how your activity runs. So, yeah, great to see. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Councillor Crown.
Very quickly, thank you through you, Madam Mayor. Thanks to the team. I've seen the footage. I've seen you guys out and about. I know what you're dealing with often at the coalface, and I just wanted to take the opportunity also to point out to those that may be watching online that basically only 14% of our activity is funded by rates from the last financial year, which I think is an incredible achievement. Also the additional operational savings that were made as well associated with the activity. So congratulations to you all.
Thank you. Any further speakers? Right, I'll put the motion. All those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Against? Carried. Thank you very much, Rachel. Thank you, David. That brings us to the conclusion of our formal agenda items. We do just now have our valedictorial speeches. I will just call a 5-minute break and then we'll reconvene and get started with those. Thank you. Kia ora koutou katoa, and a very warm welcome to all of our special guests today. It's so lovely to have you here to support your loved ones who will be giving their valedictorial speeches to us today. I suspect there's going to be a few wobbly voices and maybe a few tears, so just bear with us. But this is certainly a very special day for our council whānau, and we're here to celebrate and acknowledge 4 of our colleagues who are finishing their time around this table. So that's Councillor Maxine Bogue, Councillor Chad Pareha, Councillor Hayley Brown, and Deputy Mayor Annette Brosnan. Each of them have left their own mark on Ahuriri Napier. Together they have given countless hours, made the tough calls, celebrated the wins, and shed plenty of laughs and a few tears along the way. Most of all, each and every one of them have shown a deep commitment to serving our community, and that's something we'll always be grateful for. So today is about saying thank you. Thank you to all of you for your dedication, for your passion, and for the difference that you've made to our city and our community. So it's my pleasure to invite each of you to share your reflections, and we are starting with Councillor Maxine Bogue, who is the longest standing of our retiring councillors. She has given 18 years of dedicated commitment to Ahuriri Napier. And Maxine has always been a very strong voice for our communities, and a tireless focus on social equity, on housing, on our titariti obligations, on our partnership with Mana Whenua and Tangata Whenua, and overall the well-being of our people. She has never been too afraid to stand up for what she believes in, and her advocacy has helped shape important conversations around inclusiveness and opportunity. Highlights of her service include her leadership on housing initiatives, her support for our community organisations, and her deep passion for ensuring Ahuriri remains a place where everyone feels they belong. Maxine's warmth, humour and care for people have made her a valued colleague around this table. On behalf of Council and the City, Maxine, thank you for your years and years of commitment, your wisdom and your heart. We wish you every happiness in your next chapter.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Inga mana, inga reo, ro rangatira mā. Tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā tātou katoa. Warm greetings to you all, colleagues, staff, friends, family, ro rangatira mā. Thank you for being here today as I close one of the most significant chapters of my life, 18 years as a Napier City Councillor. To Pete Finlay, my partner of 10 years, I'm hugely grateful for your unconditional love and support, the work you've done to look after and pick up after me at home. It was ironic that we met while we were both campaigning against the amalgamation of Napier and Hastings. And while we stopped that merger, we started a new journey as a couple. To my family and friends, it's so special to have you here at a celebration of my life that's not my funeral. I also thank the people of Napier for giving me the honour of serving. I have learnt so much from you. To Mayor Wise, my fellow councillors and staff, thank you for our time together, the robust debates, the shared commitment to this city. Thank you for putting up with me. I will miss you, and I know you'll miss me too, especially my tendency to ask endless questions. The upside for you is that council meetings will probably be 30 to 60 minutes shorter once I'm gone. My journey here to council. I was a late starter, first running for council in 2007 at age 59. Born and raised in Hastings, I'm of Scottish and Irish ancestry. Much of my interest in social justice I learnt from my parents, who came from humble beginnings but gave a lot back to the community. I went through varsity when the Vietnam War was raging. The pill, free education and feminism opened doors for women that our mothers never dreamed of. After getting a degree and a teacher's diploma, I migrated to Canada. I spent 15 years living in Canada and teaching there and Zimbabwe before returning to Hawke's Bay in 1988 to live in Napier and be closer to my widowed mother. Then came 18 years in teaching, journalism and more teaching before I decided in 2007 to run for council. Why did I run? Well, because through my school teacher work and my voluntary mahi in poorer communities, I saw there were areas of great need with no voice on council. So my aspiration was to see council and these communities brought closer together. An article published by Councillor Robin Gwynn in 2006 called The Two Napiers showed what we already knew, that Napier had areas of affluence which were well represented on council and areas of deprivation that weren't. The council's citywide electoral system favoured the well-known and was weighted against representation from poorer communities. No Māori had been elected in 130 years, though some had tried. So in 2006, I joined 3 community groups and 3 individuals, including Pat McGill, your dad, to challenge council's decision to keep the citywide electoral system. We wanted a ward system which would allow voters in low socioeconomic areas to elect their own representatives. When they turned us down, we took our appeal to the Electoral Commission and we won with a ruling that Napier had to adopt a part ward system. I decided to prove that it would work and I ran in Nelson Park ward, which included Maraenui and Onikawa. I door knocked, which is something many people said they hadn't seen before. And because of that, and because a councillor retired, I was elected. Maraenui is a distinct community of interest. Low-income families, the largest proportion of Māori and Pacific residents, home to the whero whānau, and with large tracts of state housing. It is also the most connected suburb in the city, a place where everyone knows and looks after each other. Representing Maraenui was not easy. Who was I, a middle-aged Pākehā school teacher from the hill, to think I could represent a predominantly Māori community, deeply connected by whakapapa, fiercely staunch in their identity, and with little trust in local body politicians. Even in council, I was met with suspicion at first. But I was determined to do my job, connecting Maraenui and the rest of the ward to the council to show that the ward system worked and giving them a voice. There was no quick fix in gaining my constituents' trust. It meant building genuine relationships. I wrote good news stories for the community newspaper. I managed the whānau night patrol. I went to school galas, churches, White Sunday services, prize givings, tangi, helped with funding applications, LTP submissions. I supported the establishment of Tūtangata Maraenui Trust. I joined the Hikoi to Wellington when 90 state houses were demolished. Over time, the people of Maraenui, including Samoan leaders, let me in. They advised me, forgave my ignorance, shared their concerns, and eventually trusted me. It's not what you say, it's what you do that matters. I especially want to honour my dear friends, the late Minnie Ratma and Galen Kirapatia. They took me into Maraenui, they guided me, they protected me, they treated me as a sister. Their courage as Māori wahine, mothers and grandmothers, their determination, their ability to arise above life's challenges, I will never forget. There have been positive changes that make me especially proud of our council. The full ward system is now embedded in Napier. I brought Api Tāpine onto council in 2016, Napier's first Māori councillor. Council's staunch support for Māori wards and seeing that come to fruition this year. On the ground, there's been big improvements in the Maraenui Shopping Centre Reserve, the splash pad, basketball half court, the free barbecues, the pod, and more recently, our council's support for a shelter for the homeless. I was able to reach out to support other communities in my ward and wider, the Piramai Residents Association, the Maraenui Rugby Club Board, supporting the Men's Shed, Puki Muki Muki Marae, the NGOs, the schools, Grey Power, who are my own people. I was advocating for seniors struggling to make ends meet and those needing public housing, and the homeless who taught me tolerance and humility. there but for the grace of God. I can't claim credit for any monuments or grand buildings, but I was instrumental in the Seawalls Murals Festivals, 2 years of local and international artists adorning 50 city walls with marine-themed art. Many are gone now, but some are still standing and still stunning. Over 18 years, I learnt the ropes. I had some wins and many losses. I learnt the hard way to pick my battles, not to fight for everything, to listen, to look for common ground, to praise where praise was due, to compromise, to do my homework, and to ask questions when I didn't have all the information I needed to make a decision. To remember politics is a numbers game, and without the numbers, you don't win. But as the years went by, even when I was a sole voice at the table, I never felt alone. I carried the korowai, the aroha of the community, protecting and supporting me. At the end of it all, I believe I achieved what I set out to do, to bring council closer to the people. The ward system gave me that, gives all councillors the opportunities to do that, to meet people face to face, kanohi ki to kanohi, to be the go-to councillor for your ward, to build relationships out there where the real people live, to give them a voice, to be accessible and accountable. Napier is the most beautiful city I've ever lived in, with its art decos, cycleways, cafes and waterfront. But beneath the glitz and glamour is a deep underbelly of poverty and deprivation. I urge future councillors, your job is to serve all the people, especially those in need. To the next council, I wish you well in weathering the turbulent times ahead. It's not going to be easy. But you will have 2 Māori ward councillors who'll be used to tackling headwinds, and they will strengthen your ranks. And as for me, I've loved this mahi, and leaving council will take a big chunk out of my life. But at age 77, after 6 terms, the time is right for me to move aside for the younger generation and to look around and decide for myself what I want to do for the next chapter in my life. There are lots of options. To those friends amongst you who've treated my resignation with dismay, remember, this farewell is not my funeral. I'm still here. I want to keep up, even strengthen our friendships. This may be the end of Councillor Bogue, but it's the beginning of the rest of my life as me. Nō reira, tēnā koutou, tēnā tātou katoa.
Oh,
And so next we are farewelling Councillor Hayley Brown, who has served Ahuriri with energy and dedication for the past 6 years. Hayley has been a passionate advocate for our younger generations as a young mum herself, and brings a fresh perspective and a strong voice for families and community wellbeing. She has worked hard to ensure council decisions reflect the needs of today, while also looking ahead to the opportunities of tomorrow. Her contribution has helped strengthen the focus on building resilience and innovation, and ensuring that a wider range of voices are heard around this table. Her enthusiasm, positivity and commitment to Ahuriri has been valued by both her colleagues and the community she represents. Hayley, thank you for your service and for the heart that you have given to our community. We wish you all the very best for your upcoming elections for the Regional Council, and look forward to working alongside you as partnering councils. So thank you from all of us.
I wish you said that after I spoke. Kia ora, everyone. Wow. Maxine, you're an incredibly hard act to follow. Thank you for your service, your dedication and the hard work you've poured into our community. So I obviously haven't been here for 18 years, but the 6 years I've had in this role have been a wonderful learning curve. And as the Mayor pointed out, I'm hoping this isn't my last hurrah in local government, so I'll keep this short. It's a close of one chapter in which I hope is a much longer book. So firstly, thank you. Thank you to our Mayor, Kirsten Wise, and to my peers around this table and around the region, and especially those of you who have taken the time to work through ideas, to coach, to mentor, and to support me through the challenges of this role. And a huge thank you to our staff. Without you, the decisions we make around this table would be absolutely meaningless. It's our job to set the vision, but what is vision without execution? It's often thankless and undervalued work, but yours is the mahi that truly counts. I've been so impressed by your dedication, your competence, and the fact you keep showing up and delivering for our community even when it's tough. So thank you. Thank you to the public for putting your faith in me and the privilege, and giving me the privilege of making decisions on your behalf. I've worked hard to uphold the mana of the role that you bestowed upon me with your vote, and I hope I've made you proud. And a special thanks to the community groups that I've worked with, from the Port Noise Liaison Committee, to the Pukemuke Marae Board, to Napier City Pilot Trust, to the Ahuriri Business Association. Getting the community voice to this table would be incredibly hard if it wasn't for groups like you. And to my family, to Dan, my rock, and chief catcher of the dropping spinning plates that I inevitably drop, and to my girls who have shared me with Napier, thank you. So 6 years ago, I went for a walk down Marine Parade with Annette. I was pushing a newborn Tilly in the pram and wondering if standing for council with a baby was really a good idea. Since then, it's been a baptism of fire. We've had 4 states of emergencies, 5 CEs, endless government reforms, changing back, changing again, a changing climate and a cost of living crisis, not to mention a rising hate, a rise in misogynistic hate towards politicians to contend with. But my babies are no longer babies, with our youngest turning 4 next week and my 41st birthday yesterday. It really does feel like the closing of a chapter and the beginning of a new one. When I look back, I'm proud to have contributed to some steady progress in areas that really matter. 4 years ago, asset management wasn't really a hot topic at this table, but now it's part of our everyday conversation. We have a roadmap in place and a stronger culture around planning and resilience. That's a shift that will help Napier in the long term. I've also really enjoyed working on our regional committees. Regional collaboration is so important, And yes, they can be slow and they can be frustrating, but we all know that it takes time to bring communities on a journey with us. And it's so worth keeping going and keeping working together, especially with topics like amalgamation on the table and the complexities of the challenges that we have ahead. Chairing the Joint Waste Futures Committee has been one of my key highlights, and it's been an absolute honour to work with you, Ana Apatu. We've had a great committee, and our waste staff are incredible. And I've truly appreciated building stronger relationships with our Māori partners through that mahi. So in closing, this has been a tough job at times, but one I felt really privileged to hold. What I'll remember most is the resilience of our community, the generosity of our staff, and the small but steady shifts that we've made to set us up for the future. I leave grateful for the lessons, the challenges and the friendships, and I hope this is less of a goodbye and more of a see you soon, but wearing a different hat at HBRC. So thank you, Council, thank you, Napier. There are lots of challenges ahead, but I have faith that you've got this.
And next, I would like to acknowledge and farewell Councillor Chad Pariha, who has served the City of Ahuriri for the past 6 years, 3 years as a member of our Ngā Manuka Oti Iwi Committee, and then in 2022 he took the big plunge, stood for council and was successfully elected onto the Taradale ward. Chad has brought a strong cultural voice to this council, always reminding us of the importance of connection to whakapapa, to whenua and to community. He has been a tireless advocate for partnership with mana whenua, ensuring that te ao Māori is reflected in our decision making. During his time on council, Chad has contributed to projects that strengthen our city's cultural identity, deepen community connections, and create opportunities for our people. His wisdom, humour and presence have been valued around this table. So Chad, thank you for your service and the araha you have shown to Ahuriri. We wish you all the very best in your next chapter.
Huri noa I tō tātou nei whare, a tēnei te mihi, a tuatai ake, a kārere atu ana te mihi, tuatahi tēnei ki runga ki tō tātou nei matua, ko i o te timatatanga me te whakootinga, huri noa, tēnā rā tātou katoa. As I take this moment to reflect on my time as a councillor, I do so with great gratitude and appreciation. To serve our community over the past 3 years as a councillor has been an honour and a responsibility that I have valued deeply. This term has challenged me and developed me and has strengthened my belief in local government and their role they play for our communities. When I first stood for the council, it wasn't a spontaneous decision. I knew why I was putting my hand up, and I stood because I believed that I could bring a different yet a complementary perspective to the local decision-making table. And because my cousin Heniwai gave me the elbow. I understood that change doesn't come simply from opposing decisions you disagree with and chucking out an alternative in the heat of the moment. To create change, you have to do the homework. You have to build trust, relationships, and bring people with you. And that's the real work of local leadership, and it's been a lesson I've valued throughout my time here. I came into this role with strong relationships already in place with councillors, council staff, mana whenua and community groups, and with a genuine passion for the issues that matter to our people. Key among those have been the environment, the health of our waterways, stormwater, wastewater, and ensuring safe drinking water for our homes, as well as the complex challenges around rates. But above all, strengthening partnerships with mana whenua has always been central to my mahi. There have been many moments of pride along the way, contributing to the recovery efforts following Cyclone Gabriel was both humbling and highly important. Helping lead the update of the Waste Management and Minimisation Plan was another highlight. I was also grateful for the opportunity to complete the Making Good Decisions certification and participate in hearings. My first hearing was menacing dogs. Representing council on the Art Deco Trust and chairing the Oamaranui Landfill Steering Committee were equally valuable experiences. Each one showing the breadth and the depth of local government. Of course, no term is without its challenges, and while there's still a bit for me to learn, those challenges have only reinforced my commitment to ongoing learning, growth, and service. With that, I just want to thank a few people. Firstly, to your worship, Mayor Wise, thank you for your leadership, your energy, and your commitment to our communities. I'm especially grateful for your tautoko and your understanding throughout my time here. To Deputy Mayor Annette Brosnan. Annette, you're probably the one I'll miss the most. Thank you for your support, your guidance and your wisdom, and I truly wish you and your whānau all the very best on your haerenga. To my fellow councillors, firstly to my Te Reo Ward colleagues, Councillors Crystal, Simpson and Taylor. Thank you all for your guidance, your friendship, the debates, the teamwork, and the sense of shared purpose we've had over the last few years. To the rest of my fellow councillors, thank you all for the way you've each contributed to the local decision-making table, your dedication to our communities, and thank you all for the cups of coffees, for your different perspectives, and yeah, just for serving our communities. Huri noa tēnei te mihi nui atu kia koutou katoa. To all the council staff, thank you for your professionalism and expertise. I'd like to make a special mihi to Te Waka Rangapu, but in particular to my whanaunga Morihu Te Tomo for his tautoko and support on my journey. Ngā mihi nui kia koe e te whanaunga o te rā kia koutou katoa. To my friends and whānau, koutou kua tae mai nei ki te tautoko mai tēnei. Ai tēnei te mihi nui, te mihi aroha, atu kia koutou katoa. Ai nei rā te mihi, kauri a reke reke ngā mihi atu kia koutou katoa. Lastly, I want to acknowledge and thank Abby, who I met on this very day 17 years ago, and who's brought along our youngest son, Bowden, this morning, for all her support through the ups and downs. One second. Especially through the challenges I've put her through. Your patience, aroha, and belief in me. Means a lot. Thank you. As I step back from council, I want to be clear, this isn't the end. I'm choosing to take a step back, to focus on myself, my hauora, my whānau, and some priorities that need my attention. But I remain passionate about this mahi, and I'll be back hopefully at our next local body election. But I do enjoy council mahi, and I'll pick a council meeting or workshop over hapu or iwi hui any day. But to those who will carry the work forward, especially to the new Māori ward councillors that will be stepping up, I wish you every success. Your voices are vital, and I know you'll do a good job. You'll bring strength, integrity, and a fresh perspective to this table. But yeah, I won't hold up too much of more of your time. Just tēnei te mihi nui atu kia koutou katoa. Thank you all for the last 3 years. Kia ora koutou katoa. Kia ora.
He waka
And last but certainly not least, we farewell today Deputy Mayor Annette Brosnan. We were elected on together 12 years ago, so what a 12 years it has been, and she has absolutely been my right-hand woman. Annette has been the driving force behind some of our city's most significant projects, from the restoration of our War Memorial Centre to our beautiful Tiaka and the vision for Ahuriri Regional Park. These projects reflect her passion for building spaces that honour our history, serve our people and connect us to our environment. Beyond the big projects, Annette has always been a champion for families, for our neighbourhoods and our local communities, bringing energy, heart and a pragmatic voice to the council table. And I was incredibly proud to nominate her for this year's Local Government New Zealand Superhuman Award, the only individual award that is given annually at our conference, and she smashed it, she won it. So that was a really, really proud and special moment for us. Annette, your leadership, your vision and your commitment has left a lasting legacy in Napier. And I know you'll be back. This is not the end of Annette Brosnan's career in local government. I do not believe that for a moment. So on behalf of Council and our community, thank you. Thank you to Greg and Holly and Dan for allowing us to monopolise so much of your Annette's time. And I wish all of you just the absolute most incredible journey that you're about to embark on with your travels around the world. We're looking forward to regular updates. So thank you from all of us, Annette.
Doing good. I haven't started crying yet. Let's see how I go. Ngā mihi, Kirsten, and I just want to acknowledge Chad, Hayley and Maxine today as well. We share this special day. I feel really mixed standing here today, kind of sad, special, overwhelming, a gallery filled with people I love and respect so much. Leaving an organisation, a team and a role that I have loved for so long. Really marking an end of an era in my life and quite frankly mourning a version of me that I have cherished. 12 years ago, after a prayer or two and some conversations with my original mentors who are here today, Christine Scott and Barbara Crawley, I put my hand up to serve our great city. A Tamatea girl, no children, no grey hairs yet. And at just 25 years old, I was out to prove myself and I wanted to contribute. I loved the possibilities of the role. I loved our city, I loved the challenge, and I wanted to make a difference, especially for our environment. I was the youngest woman ever elected to Napier, and I remember my husband's kind of disbelief. If I recall correctly, he said, "Isn't that just for retired people?" As a junior councillor, I worked on building my competency fast. I pushed myself into really uncomfortable situations. I remember the sting of the first debate where I stood alone against this table and against a decision unsuccessfully. And if you know me, you'll know that I still think I was right. I recall the nervous shakes in my voice, not too dissimilar to right now, holding my very first ward meeting at Tamatea Intermediate to a crowd.
And I remember writing to the Mayor and the Chief Executive when I thought we were doing something wrong. And I remember the hours spent writing and proposing policies, debates, notices of motions, when I thought we could be doing something better. All firsts, all scary, but I have prided myself in contributing inside and outside of the chamber and showing up for the hard parts of this job. Along the way, I learned something important. Putting your hand up for this role isn't a mark of contribution in itself. The real mark is what you do once you're given the seat. You can sit back and let council happen to you, or you can happen to council. I chose to happen to council. I chose to work hard, to lead, to take ownership of our challenges, to bring people together with a purpose, to hold myself and others to a high standard, and to use my seat and my voice to influence change. Along the way, I've learnt a lot. I've had wins and I've had losses. I've earnt respect, and at times I've lost it. I've impressed people and I've disappointed them. I have made friends, and some I have lost. I've spoken up when it was really uncomfortable, but with hindsight, I've also stayed silent when I wish I hadn't. Nothing about this role is black and white. It's all hard, and it's a lesson in humanity. The job isn't easy. It's thick-skinned, heart-challenging, poker-faced, thankless most days. But my hardest moments weren't those policy battles. They were when my personal integrity was attacked by people who didn't know me, or when malicious campaigns targeted me, or when my home address was posted online, or when unhappy people came to my door, or when I had to explain to my family why important people weren't in our lives anymore. But that's what we sign up for. To have purpose and principles means loss alongside gains. And there have been many gains and many lighter moments too. For my command of resolution crafting, I got my very first ever nickname, Annie, the Master of Motions, which I wear with pride alongside the delivery tagline of assertively polarising. Because all day, every day, I would rather be polarising and principled than silent and forgettable. I've taken huge pleasure in helping articulate this table's thoughts, listening, understanding, and crafting, turning our legal and regulatory processes into good governance has been my happy place, and in turn honing my gift for words. As a dyslexic woman, reading volumes of paperwork, like you're required to do here quite a bit, has always been a challenge for me. But I found a way to shine through with words, and my closest colleagues I communicate with the most would now say it's fine as they speak Annette now. There are moments I will carry with me with deep pride forever: our environmental legacy, the Ahuriri Stormwater Park, the district plan review, the relationship with mana whenua, and our work on climate resilience, planting seeds that will grow long after we're gone. The memorial reinstatement here, because pulling community together and remembering what is right matters. Working with the Art Deco Trust on the Women's Rest building, a building that has never been opened during my 12-year term, now welcoming people again. And the Civic Precinct, dealing with the loss of our organisation and our city's heart, restoring our assets and a place for Napier's future. I am proud that my contribution has had impact. So earlier this year, being recognised with that award you mentioned has to be the pinnacle of my career so far, and I'm so thankful and humbled by it. Over 12 years, this role has changed my thinking, it's stretched my values, it's sharpened my voice, and it has changed me completely. Today, I am not the same woman who walked in here at 25, and by the time you see me next, I would have changed again, I am sure. I mean, who am I really if I am not this? It's what people always introduce you as. That is the journey yet to come. I think there is no good time to leave if you are an active councillor. There will always be unfinished projects, unanswered questions, strong relationships, and more work to do. My fear in leaving has always been letting people down, letting you all down. But I know now that leadership isn't about doing it all, it's about doing what matters while you have the chance. So to my fellow councillors, past and present, thank you for walking alongside me. I know you don't do this job for the glory, you do it because you care. And while the public often only sees the decisions, usually the ones they don't like, they don't always see the complex trade-offs, the sleepless nights, the personal sacrifices, or the weight of responsibility that you all carry. Our future, the future of local government, is under attack. It is in peril. So to the new council, take every opportunity you can to upskill our people on our challenges, to remove the toxic from social media and pass your knowledge on firsthand. Have the conversations. Work hard to encourage our government to decentralise that tax system and fund local services correctly in line with international best practice. And to protect our democratic position, because in every way it has been proven that when decisions are made close to communities by you get better outcomes. To the people of Napier and my Onekawa Tamati Award, thank you. Your trust, your challenges and your belief in me have shaped everything I've done. To my successor, our ward is full of the best people. Learn the system deeply and serve them well with a strong voice at this table. No one grows the way I have in this job without help, so I want to thank those I've looked up to and learned from. Barb, Liz, Christine, Paris, Hinawai, Lance and Michaela. You've always been a guide of what's right for me. Thank you. To my closest colleagues, the committee chairs, Keith, Sally and Richard, I'll always treasure the support and lifelong friendships we've built. To our council staff, your professionalism, your deep commitment, your unseen service to Napier, it matters more than most will ever see. Rachel, Paulina, Fleur, Connie and Darren, you guys are outstanding. To my Mayor, Kirsten, there is no other human I would have wanted to start and finish this journey alongside. To my parents, Neil, Penny, Kerry and Carol, you truly are our village that I couldn't have done this without, and I will forever be grateful. To my husband Greg and my children Daniel and Holly, thank you for being my foundation. I know that you often got the worst of me, but through it all you have been my biggest cheerleaders. It's now time for me to give you my best. John F. Kennedy once said, "To those whom much is given, much is expected." And so I say, if God gives you a platform, it is your duty to use it. I am a woman of faith, and at times I've leaned heavily on that faith to hold tension with grace and to stand firm when it was hard, and to love people when it wasn't easy. Proverbs 11:14 says, "For lack of guidance, a nation falls, but victory is won through many advisors." So I would like to leave my seat today how I entered it, with a prayer for the many advisors to our city. May you all continue to seek wise counsel, to build collective strength. May you lead with humility, find your voices, and speak with courage. Seek to hold each other to high standards and serve our city with love, that you remember everyone here has a reason and a purpose, and that you use your purpose and your platform well. In Jesus' name, amen. It has been the honour of my life to serve this city and to do so alongside you all. Tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou katoa. Thank you so much to our Kapahaka group. That has been absolutely spectacular. Give them a round of applause as they disappear out the door. Everyone is invited to join us for refreshments next door in the Natush Ballroom, so I hope you can make the time to stay with us. But we will now have our closing karakia to close off the formal part of our council meeting. Kia tau te rangamari e, ke runga i ngā iwi katoa. Kia piki te ora, te kaha me te māramatanga, i ngā wā katoa. Tēnei mauri ora. Thank you, everyone.